So in studio is a former WCSB staffer and her video partner and the Midlands Punk Rock Video. I don't know if I want to call it a network. Would you?
MPRV News.
Yeah, news. MPRV News. All right, Shelley Slater. Some of you may remember her on WCSB in the 80s and in the late 90s. You came back, is that correct?
That is correct. I returned.
And what was the name of your show at the beginning and when you returned?
I was See You in Hell.
Oh, yeah.
Till we had a few issues. And then I had to change it to Tales of Terror.
Could you verify for the listeners and for the executive staff members that asked me this, did you in fact read the Satanic Bible on the air at WCSB during your stint here?
Indeed, I did, between the hours of 1 a.m. and 6 a.m.
There you go, in Safe Harbor period.
Exactly.
Late Safe Harbor period. Well, you know, Shelley, if you recall at the beginning, we did not have to have Safe Harbor because we could play stuff anytime we wanted.
Yes.
Except for policies of the station or whatever. I had a afternoon show in 1983, and I went back and looked at some of my playlists and realized I was playing all kinds of stuff with objectionable words in it. But
you certainly did.
Then we had Reagan, and we went to the Safe Harbor period. So, Andy, you are also part of the video crew and friend and collaborator of Shelley. You are from where?
Just outside of Birmingham.
Okay.
England.
And,
yes, England.
And if everybody's aware, GBH is from Birmingham. So, these guys are right up in the area. Like Bob had mentioned, the Rust Belt refugee had mentioned that he plays a lot of stuff from Manchester, England, the factory records and all that kind of stuff. So he is very envious of you living in Manchester, by the way.
It's an interesting place, but unfortunately the hacienda is no more. It's an apartment building. Right.
So, and you, Bob, Rust Belt refugee, you know what she's talking about with that. How have you been enjoying your first time in the States for, 10 years or something like that you had mentioned?
It has been a decade, and it has been a very interesting time. A lot of culture shock coming back.
Sure, yeah.
2 countries. I was in Switzerland, and now I'm in the UK. And it's nice to be back.
Very good. And have you interviewed any bands while you've been here? You have, actually, I think, right?
We have. Andy, why don't you tell them?
We did a band called Rat Trap from Cincinnati, and we kind of dropped lucky. One of their members was Chris Doherty out of Gangrene.
Oh, cool.
So, an unknown band that had a famous member.
Yeah, and so we had, and they also, my mind just went blank. The other band. The Cincinnati band.
That's Rat Trap.
No.
Cincinnati was a big place.
Oh, SS20.
Thank you.
Oh, all right.
So we had SS20 members and Gangrene, and they came together to become a Rat Trap, and we had a very interesting interview, which can be found. A little bit of a plug here. We have a YouTube channel.
It's free, though.
Yeah.
It's just to view.
Yes.
It's not. They're not soliciting anything here. But,
no.
If you feel like it, you can, if you're interested, you can check their videos on YouTube. Just go and watch and learn, right?
Yes, MPRV News.
What other bands have you interviewed and been on MPRV News lately?
Oh, geez.
Discharge,
Crass.
UK Subs.
Crass.
Yeah, it's Steve Ignorant.
Really?
UK Subs, as Andy just said.
A lot of old and a lot of new.
Yes.
Okay. Very good.
Fang.
FUs. Dr. No.
Dr. No. Brandon Cruz. Now, first thing I asked you, Shelley, was what? If you asked him about the courtship of Eddie's father of the television show he was on, and he still doesn't want to talk about that. I'm shocked at that.
He talked a bit about it. You'll have to watch that episode. I'm not sure exactly when that particular one is coming out, but it will be out in the next couple of months when he talks about that.
It's in 5 parts, so we're going to spread it around a bit.
Right, because I got a notification of one of the parts recently, this past week. So, if you subscribe to the channel, you get notifications of it, so you can see what's going on. You guys hit a lot of the festivals over in England and catch these guys. Tell a little bit about that and how the festivals go over there.
Well, the festivals tend to be, unless you're talking about the Rebellion Festival, they tend to be small. The biggest one outside of Rebellion that I can think of off the top of my head would be the Manchester Punk Festival. And that runs 3 days, has about 5,000 people attending, and has, I think, 8 stages running concurrently. It's huge.
It sells out as well on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem seeing bands if they're both playing at the same time on a different stage or anything?
The guys who do it are really good with scheduling, and they try not to make any clashes or similar types, because they do cover a lot of different types of punk. They'll have everything from, I think headlining this year will be Propagandy. So they've got that type, and then they'll go into almost like indie punk. So it's really a bit different. And acoustic stages. It's very varied.
Yeah, sometimes we have to do the first 15 minutes and then
run to the next one.
It's very important that we have live footage with the interview. To give the maximum energy.
Yeah, because we want people to not just hear what people have to say, but to see them in action as well.
I know I was mentioning that your Radis interview had them playing at the end that Reagan's Christmas Present tune, which I like to play around here, and to note that Reagan doesn't seem so bad nowadays,
Gosh, I was talking with Sammy from Fang about that in the interview.
Really?
And we were saying how he was moderate, and looking back on it and how he was then, we'd welcome that now.
Wow, that's for sure.
And it's scary that things have changed so much, and we thought it was bad back then.
Right. Yeah, I mean, people around the world thought it was bad. Now they still do. Because that, I want to point out that one of the first bands that came out with an anti-Trump tune was Boycott the Baptist. And this is guys that you guys know. Fuck Off Trump is a tune that they have in here. We're going to play that in a little bit. But how'd you meet up with those guys?
It tends to be you just bump into people at gigs and you get to know them, and it's kind of a very small scene, even though it's large and spread out throughout the entire country.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we just walk up and ask. That's what you mean.
Hey, that's the punk rock way, right?
They can say yes or no.
So,
or in a less polite way.
Yeah.
Right.
But very few people have said no to us.
Well, that's good. No, you guys have had some fantastic interviews on there, and I have checked them out over the last couple of years that you've had it. Now, Shelley, you also do a lot of photography over in England? And
I do, although not as much since I've started doing all the interviews.
Right. Yeah, video kind of takes up time when you're trying to be at a gig and interact with some of the performers or take pictures of them or interview them or anything like that.
Exactly. So it's often I'm interviewing while another band is on and then have to run out to see them as soon as the interview is done.
Oh, right. Yeah, that would be a little bit bad. I would ask what have you when you were at WCSB, Shelley, you played a lot of metal.
Yes.
And were in on the original thrash metal and death metal scene.
Yes.
Tell a little bit about that, and also have you gotten into that scene over there at all?
I haven't really gotten into the metal scene because I found, at least in Manchester, more often than not, it was more the power metal or the more atmospheric metal that was coming through at the time. And back in the day on WCSB, I was playing hardcore and punk along with the metal.
Right.
So for me, it was a very natural progression to just slide back into my punk years.
Right. As we all did back then, we talk about how our push box back then had just stuff coming in, and we would be playing it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Metal Blade Records and, all kinds of different record labels start coming out with all these bands on it, and, they were right in the push box for you to play. You didn't have to seek them out or do anything like that, or download their, album onto a CDR or anything like that.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising to see.
Yeah.
That's how it's done now.
That's how it's done now, yeah. Our metal director, Eric, does a great job. And he handles all that. And when stuff comes through, we have a subscription to one of the, distributors or whatever they do, the record company. I mean, you don't even get stuff from the actual label anymore. It comes through, Relapse Record or, Hell's Headbangers or something like that comes through another distribution channel. So I'm not even sure how it goes. I'm just a volunteer. I'm not part of the staff. I'm not a director or anything like that.
Yeah,
so,
but it was like Christmas. When we would come in and there'd been a shipment, you had the best show that week because it was like, oh my God, look at this, look at this, look at this.
Yeah, and not only that, but that was probably the golden era of all that stuff coming out. Oh, yeah. And stuff that's like classic now, your Metallicas, your Slayers, your more obscure stuff from back then. That's the kind of stuff that's like people are following back to back then to see that kind of thrash metal and everything. And there's people are into certain genres and stuff, but as it come, we didn't plan to go into thrash metal or anything. It just started coming out, and like you said, it was a natural progression because the metal started getting faster.
Yes, and more aggressive.
And single-handedly, actually, Metallica put out that Garage Days album with some punk rock bands on it, like the Misfits and I'm trying to think of some of the other
Killing
ones.
Joke.
Killing Joke was unbelievable. Yeah, so that hit people to some other stuff, and kind of sped things up, I think.
I got the people to start looking into the punk and why did these guys play this stuff, and learning that that's what their roots were.
Yeah, and a lot of these punk bands went metal.
Yes,
if you recall.
Gosh, yes.
It was kind of a
too much disaster, I think.
Yeah, and then you got into your, the stuff that Mike Hughes plays now on The Day Man Lost. He plays a lot of what is colloquially, I can't even say it, referred to as Cookie Monster vocals.
Yes, the death metal stuff.
Yeah, the death metal stuff. He still plays a lot of that stuff, but he every once in a while will have a thrash metal night, and he'll, he goes on the same night as I do on Thursday, so like he'll top card all my stuff that I'm going to be playing. He's actually, I'm going to be doing I'll go down and look at one of my playlists from the 80s and pick out a bunch of stuff from it and be like, I'm going to play everything from July 1987 tonight or something like that. And one night we were listening to it, I was like, oh my God, he's playing all this stuff. How did he know?
Well, my very last show I did here in 2002, I took only songs that I would have played between 1984 and 1986 when I was originally only on vinyl,
wow,
single
cool.
CD, ran around like the chickens that we used to.
Yeah.
And it was the most brilliant thing to play all that 80s stuff.
Oh, yeah,
the
no
punk,
doubt.
The metal.
It's still up here, too. When I came back after 24 years, I found that a lot of the albums I'd be looking for, they're right up in there still.
Yeah, I was shocked to see some of them. I was like, I used to play this exact album way back, this physical one.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, they haven't, they've got a lot of stuff on CD now, but, the original albums are all still here. We didn't sell off our record collection. Like, I think RUW did a little of that. I'm not sure exactly, but...
not good. Not good, guys.
Because they digitalized everything, and so, like, when you go in your car and you're driving around, it tells what tune they're playing in RUW and stuff like that, so,
I prefer this way.
So, we're gonna play some tunes, but I was going to ask you about Discharge. Tell a little bit about when you interviewed JJ and the guys from Discharge, and then you had some of their performance on there too, and it was just as kick-ass as we always remember. So, what happened with that one?
Well, we know JJ Jeff fairly well, and he and Rainey, who rarely at the time had done any interviews as of the past few years, we just hopped in the back of their van and just had a nice...
It's a bit weird, that.
It does, yeah.
Backseat of my van.
Yes. And we just had a really nice long chat about everything to do with music, the old days of Discharge, touring. Jeff and I talked, because Jeff is actually an American.
I did not know that at the time, but he's been over there for a while, hasn't he? Or something like that?
He has.
Yeah.
I think he's from New Jersey.
Yeah, he's
really?
from Jersey.
Yeah.
And
Misfits country.
Exactly, yes.
It is. So.
And I think he knows some... I don't know. Honestly, I'm speaking out of turn because I can't recall for sure now.
I'm trying to think of their hometown. I can't think of it now.
I can't either. I think they're northern New Jersey, but can't recall. Mm-hmm. And he'd been playing in Broken Bones, and he just has been a punk for so long.
I was a punk before you were a punk, right?
We were both punks before Jeff was a punk.
That's right. Wow.
Yeah, well, we're a couple of years older than he is. Not many.
Oh, well, who's counting?
Exactly.
Right.
And, yes, and watching him and seeing him play. And, Andy, you've seen Discharge with Cal. You've seen Discharge with Jeff. What do you think?
He's right up there with him. Yeah.
Cool.
And I like him as a person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're
he's a great
hoping
guy.
to maybe do another interview if our times cross to do that, because he's got an interesting hobby of collecting old antiques.
What kind of antiques?
A little bit of everything. A lot of furniture.
Oh, okay.
And other bits and pieces. Mm-hmm. And it's his passion.
Does he watch American Pickers?
I'm not sure we get that.
American
in the UK.
Pickers goes over to England to get stuff sometimes.
Ah.
They were over there looking for cars.
Well.
I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they travel the country looking for rusty gold, and they go into people's, they go into guys that have big collections of, motorcycles, motorcycle parts, all kinds of stuff. So that sounds like a guy that they would go to his house and pick his house.
Yes.
And they pay top dollar for everything. It's really interesting. But, if you happen to see any television shows while you're here, that would be one.
I have seen that listed, but haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's good.
So.
It's good. The guys came down to the Variety Theater, and Mike Wolf, who is the main guy in American Pickers, came down because they had a contest about This Place Matters and how people are trying to save old buildings. And our presentation won, and he came down, and he's like he had a big presentation and stuff, and he, had that on their website and everything. And so that was very cool. He really liked the Variety Theater. You were very familiar with the Variety Theater, I know,
Yes.
because of all the bands that played there.
Gosh, yes. I mean, everything from that Motorhead gig with the ceiling coming down
right.
on us.
And many after that, too. So.
Yes. I mean, I can't even begin to think of how many bands I've seen there. That Slayer, Exodus, Venom gig.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that was a big one. The Dead Kennedys.
Dead Kennedys played there, yeah. Black Flag.
God, my mind is going blank, yet that was the place I always went. I mean, we were always there.
And a number of, I was mentioning today to somebody that the College Radio Coalition and all the college radio stations used to sponsor or, be involved with putting on a lot of those shows over there. And also the alternative press when they first started out. Shout out to Mike Shea. He started out Alternative Press in the summer of '85 and started sponsoring shows and having shows over at the Variety, and a lot of those shows were sponsored by AP. So
yes, and that's when I got involved with them as well.
And you wrote for them for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm. So if anybody thinks that anything ended after the Motorhead gig, not true.
Yep.
Not true. So, hey, shout out to all our streamers out there tonight. We've got a number of people in the United States, a number of people outside the United States. We've got our listener in Yamaguchi, Japan.
Oh, hello.
Hirao, Japan. We've got Dave up in Canada doing our archive. Shout out to Dave B. And we got Kurt in Sao Tome and Principe. Are you familiar with where that is? I think I had told you one time. We got a guy from Akron who works for Voice of America, and he broadcasts into the middle of Africa from Sao Tome and Principe, which is an island off the coast of Gabon.
Wow.
And they're right around the same time. Like time. What do you call that? Like timeline as you guys.
The GMT.
Yeah.
Greenwich Mean Time.
They are 5 hours ahead, I think, too.
Yes,
something
that would be
like
us.
that. Yeah, so I went and checked on a giant map to see what was between both of you guys. But we've got another listener in Germany. The listener in Germany is always there. I think they have it on all the time. So you never know when somebody's going to come in. We got this shoutcast that shows the streamers and, of course, all the people around Cleveland, Rocky River, Lakewood. So shout out to everybody, and shout out to everybody who's listening over their regular airwaves and trying to keep warm on this unusually cold night. You guys hit us in a very big cold snap, I'm afraid.
I think we brought the cold with us.
Hey.
It was very cold when we landed in Detroit.
That's right, yeah.
It's just been coming along with us.
Yeah, I haven't got my flip-flops out my suitcase yet. I don't think I'm getting
Nice. Well, just don't go to Erie, whatever you do.
Yeah,
They
heard.
have like 5 feet of snow.
Yeah,
So,
scary.
Seaman is from Erie. And his birthday was on Christmas, and he got back here out of there somehow.
Luckily for him.
I mean, yeah. So, anyway, we're gonna talk some more in a little bit, but let's play our usual. GBH is what I usually start with, and we've got something from their new album, which is called Momentum. And right for you, Andy. This is Birmingham Smiles, GBH.
fight this time. Divide and conquer is the plan. Taught to hate our fellow man, but energy is in the air. Corporate change is everywhere. As we stand on hard ground, ancient wisdom can be found. It's the slow kill genocide. Kill me for profit, my life is a number. Kill me for a lie. Kill me for
I am the walrus. Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Keep running everywhere. All millionaires to synthetic hands. From the now gonna have me from it. I'm leaving now, get a good deal on it. Welcome, Trump. Fuck right on. Not on the right, who must do that? All American corporate dominate. My name, being the best. And I'm going to vengeance to give a shit. Fuck off, Trump! Fuck right off! Don't wanna be a part of your system. Represent typically I'm not a number. Not a machine in my affection. Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo, blowing up to my head! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo, blowing up to my head! No! Your opinions make me sick. Your attitude fuel to my mind. Just another your best goes so out of touch with me. Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo, blowing up to my head! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo, blowing up to my head! No! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo, blowing up to my head! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo, blowing up to my head! No! Don't wanna be a part of your system. Represents everything I'm not. Not a number, not a machine in my reflection. Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo, blowing up to my head! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo! Hey, Mo, blowing up to my head! No!
All right. Got some Discharge there for you. That's, if I can get my glasses here, that's
Hate Bomb.
Hate Bomb from their latest. And I don't know, it doesn't seem so bad, right? When did this come out? 4/16 we got it, I guess.
Yeah, we came out early this year.
And so Discharge. So Andy, so you saw Discharge with Cal. When was that? At the very beginning? Because that's like around your neighborhood and stuff.
Yeah, it was about 1983 with English Dogs. It was pretty intense. A lot
English
of
Dogs.
spitting going on.
All right.
Yeah, they were still spitting the bands back then. You had to sort of dodge Cal a bit because he had all singers seem to have certain habits. Cal's was he used to spin the microphone around like a lasso.
Really?
Yeah, so sometimes you got near the crowd, you were sort of ducking and weaving as if Muhammad Ali was throwing bombs at you.
Wow. So, a lot of hair metal bands did that. Just saying. You swing the mic around. Oh, no, wait a minute. Roger Daltrey from The Who.
Ah, yes.
Did that. So what kind of, Discharge was the first band to come out pretty much. It was this kind of hardcore over in England in like 81, right? And as far as their product coming out on Clay Records and stuff. And everybody said that they were influenced by them. GBH and every other damn person.
Yep.
What's the deal with that?
Yeah, it was Clay Records was one of the sort of popular labels back then because them two bands were more or less going neck and neck with releases. I don't know, they're sort of doing their own thing. It was I had a strange story where one time I was reading a magazine and Discharge were saying that was the fastest band on the planet, and
Oh, wow.
or might have been one of the reporters interviewing them, and at the same time I just put on a DRI record that just came through the post.
Oh, the first EP, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's a bit fast.
it was like that was going on, but
So wait a minute, they were coming out at the same time pretty much then.
yeah, but I don't know if they was aware of each other.
Right. This is what's interesting because as you can recall, there was no internet at the time. There was no way of finding out about bands except maybe to get a Melody Maker, New Musical Express, or some other magazine from England, or maybe Maximum Rock and Roll would have stuff that people had found out about. I don't even know how late they got English stuff or anything, but it wasn't the instant communication that you have now. People would find out about stuff from word of mouth. And I
John
remember.
Peel.
And John Peel's, over there,
John
exactly.
Peel was a big influence on me as far as American bands were going.
Really?
Yeah, Plasmatics, Black Flag,
Wow.
Personality Crisis in Canada, obscure bands like them.
He played tons more than the people over here played, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Of those bands.
He was really into Napalm Death and Extreme Noise Terror as well.
That's a Shelley Slater band right there, Napalm Death, am I right?
Oh, yes, but Andy has seen Napalm Death. They used to be the opener for all the bands
Yeah.
in the 80s.
Really?
Yes, he's seen them so many times.
I didn't know they were from there.
Yeah,
Birmingham.
the main venue back then in Birmingham about later 80s was the Birmingham Mermaid. The promoter was a young kid called Daz Russell, who now puts on the Rebellion festivals.
Oh, I see.
So that
okay.
was his early cut your teeth days, and he's progressed to the biggest punk festival in the world.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's it was all grassroots, and grassroots is how everything got spread around.
Right,
as
that's
well.
true.
The tape trading days, or in England they call it soap and stamps.
Yeah. I mean, my life changed musically live 83 when the Bad Brains came to Birmingham. Once I'd seen them,
no
my
doubt.
whole thinking completely changed.
I brought some Bad Brains tonight, as a matter of fact.
Yay.
Their first 1982 EP on a cassette. I mean, a CD. It was originally on a cassette.
Yeah, the one was recorded in New York.
It's over there somewhere. But so anyway, let me aside from Discharge, let me run down the rest of those tunes. You might be interested to find out, you listeners. That Discharge was Hate Bomb from their latest album. Boycott the Baptist from they're from Liverpool, aren't they?
Sheffield, I think.
Sheffield, okay.
or Leeds.
Oh, Leeds, okay. Somebody's... Anyway, Boycott the Baptist did Fuck Off Trump. They were the first one to come out with an anti-Trump tune, so I really have to hand it to them for sure. Kvoteringen from Sweden did Panikmaktor's Technokrati. Now, they don't give any translations on that. Some of these bands give translations, but they do not. I have to just, mumble my way through it. So that's unfortunate for you people. Let's see. Son of Sam did Into the Night, and Blood Clot did Slow Kill Genocide. You might find some similarities in that tune. That's Todd Youth going from horror punk to back with John Joseph and the New York hardcore royalty band. I call them Blood Clot. So hey, you never know how tunes are going to get reshaped for another band. That's what happens when you own stuff. All right, GBH started us out from their new album Momentum, doing Birmingham Smiles. Goes out to Andy, and thanks to Shelley and Andy for coming up tonight. All right, we're going to hear a few of these, and then we'll come back and talk some more and play some Gangrene, and those guys can talk about how they interviewed one of the guys from Gangrene, right? There we go.
The Cleveland Arts Prize promotes artistic creativity in Northeast Ohio by honoring artists for arts excellence and recognizing community leaders who help the arts and artists to flourish. Each year, nominations open for emerging, mid-career, and lifetime achievement artists in the disciplines of music, theater and dance, literature, visual arts, and design, as well as special prizes honoring philanthropic and community leaders. Individuals and organizations that have made extraordinary contributions to the arts are recognized, and discipline winners receive $10,000 each. In order to win, you have to be nominated. To learn more, you can visit clevelandartsprize.org. This message has been brought to you by the Cleveland Arts Prize and your friends at WCSB.
I might look like a farmer, but I'm some lover. Can't tell a book by looking at the cover. Well, you can't judge the sugar by looking at the cane.
As a parent, you can't help but look at your child and dream about what the future holds. But while you're dreaming, consider this. The odds that your child will be diagnosed with autism are 1 in 88. Knowing the signs of autism and catching it early can make a world of difference. To learn the signs, you can visit autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
All right, it's the anniversary of Lemmy's death. 2 years ago, our buddy Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead passed away. Very sad. I'm sure you played a lot of Motorhead on your show both times, right, Shelley?
Oh, I definitely played some Motorhead.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. Of course, when he died, we had all kinds of Motorhead tributes and Motorhead everything for like weeks and weeks and weeks.
Yeah. Well,
because it was a little bit, well, you know, the guy didn't take that great care of himself, but you didn't expect that.
no,
so.
I think everybody thought Lemmy was just going to be the guy who never died.
Yeah, like Keith Richards.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Exactly.
Right. Well, anyways, so we're going to play some Gangrene from their Can't Live Without It album. And, but you guys interviewed one of the guys from Gangrene, right?
Yes.
He was in another band or something.
Yes. We were down in Cincinnati on our little jaunt to America and visiting with friends, and we had someone get in touch with us who's in a band called Rat Trap and asked us if we could interview them for MPRV News. We said, yes, sure, we'll be glad to interview them. Got there, and it was a band comprised of members of SS20, which was a Cincinnati band, along with Chris Doherty of Gangrene.
Who had moved up there from Boston.
Yeah, he lives in Cincinnati and has for a while.
Yeah, Cincinnati was had some very good bands down there. Of course, Toxic Reasons.
Oh, yes.
The Dayton, Cincinnati area, let's put it that way. And Luxury Pushers were from that area also. And, of course...
I think Toxic Reasons was.
Toxic Reasons, yeah. And I'm trying to think, there were a couple of other ones. But there's actually there's, you know, those Bloodstains compilation albums.
Yes.
There's a Bloodstains Across Ohio that's the Kent version, and it's got some different bands on it. But Toxic Reasons on another Ohio compilation, I think, too. Used to play their album quite a bit up here.
Oh, yes, yeah.
You
They're
know.
on them, I think they're on the first Master Type compilation, which was the Midwest.
Right.
one as well.
We have that in there still. It's still in there, and nobody's gotten rid of it. That's good. I just want to point out that we have a streaming listener from Bangkok, Thailand. Oh. Shout out to our listener in Bangkok, Thailand. Now, I had a friend of mine that was over there listening one time, and he notified me that he was listening on the WCSB.org streaming while he was in the back of a rickshaw or something like that. What it was, man. But, shout out to Harris. But this is an actual person listening 16 minutes. So we'll play him some good stuff and get going with Millions of Dead Chickenheads. Don't forget, portions of the following broadcast may be found to be objectionable by some members of the listening audience. So therefore, listener discretion is advised, right? And we are broadcasting from the campus of Cleveland State University in the Cole Center, right at the edge of campus. So shout out to the CSU Vikings and everybody else out in the outer areas, but people listening on 89.3 FM, hello to you too. All right, so...
And I just found out who the person is in Bangkok.
All right.
It is my friend Jesper.
Wow, excellent.
Hi, Jesper.
I love when you find out who it is, that's excellent.
Technology in the
What,
fall there.
what time is it over there? I'd like to know. What time is it?
I have no idea.
Have to go get my map and figure it out. But it's
Yes.
like before. It's like I figured the guy that's listening in Japan usually he's not on there now. But it's like 4 PM or something like that. So I figured it could be some kid listening after school or something. you
never know.
Yeah,
Never know.
You never know. So anyway, so this album, I'm looking at it. It came out in 1990, but this is a CD, so it's probably something from the earlier stuff, but I know this tune. We're gonna hear "Last Chance" by Gangrene, and then we're gonna go into some local stuff, your Ringworm, your Midnight, stuff like that. So I think these guys will enjoy. It'll get a little heavier after this. On Millions of Dead Chickenheads, Scary Ellen with you till 1 with Shelley and Andy sitting in. So we'll go to some music and be back in a little while.
One more time, we'll say goodbye. One more
Enter the 21st century with WCSB Cleveland.
Idiota, buried in dust. Come to me, come to me. Gonna make you right, gonna make you squirm. With the spell you're under, blood beast, cry out, taste your grief. Bitch, mongrel, bitch, mongrel, hey. Around your neck, death be like a nightmare strain. Come to me, come to me. Gonna make you run, gonna make you squirm. With a spell you're under, blood beast, scoundrel, taste your waste. Bitch, mongrel, bitch, mongrel.
Anthony Sowell, 50 years old, stands accused of rape, kidnapping, and multiple murders.
It appears that this man had a insatiable appetite for the overkill.
Last week, police found 6 bodies inside the house, and yesterday another chilling discovery, a skull.
The skull was discovered wrapped in a paper bag in a bucket in the basement.
For months, there were complaints about a foul smell in the neighborhood, but everyone thought the odor was coming from a sausage factory.
Running so early, sun killer, living in the stench of death. Mercy raped them and killed them, put their bodies in the backyard. Let them live with booze and cocaine, strangled them and left them to rot. Nobody heard the neighbors complaints. Their stories right of tears all gone. Living bodies with the backyard. How many more dead? Tony had a taste for, drunk them till they breathe the roar. Praying the demons in his head. Preying on the fringes of society. Fucking crack cocaine. Adrenaline. With a skull in a bucket after he fucked it. Set it for a rainy day. Running so a late sun killer, living in the stench of death. First he raped them, then he killed them, put their bodies in the backyard. He let them live with booze and cocaine. He strangled them and left them to rot.
All right, Icons of Filth off of the Maximum Rock and Roll 1984 compilation album. One of the greatest compilations ever made, in my humble opinion. These guys have something to say about Icons of Filth. Again, Shelley and Andy up visiting today. Shelley Slater, ex-DJ at WCSB in the early to mid 80s and the late 90s. She came back earlier than Scary Ellen did. I didn't come back until way later. I'm on my, let's see, what am I on? I'm on my 138th show since I came back.
Wow.
And so I've only missed 2. I missed one for my honeymoon, and I missed one for the GBH show. That was it, though. That was
missing
it.
a show to go see GBH.
I had to get somebody to do the show. It was hard to get somebody to do also because they all wanted to go.
Yeah.
So I got Will, our progressive guy, to come in here and play like, Jesus Lizard and stuff like that. Evidently, that's what he did. So anyway, Icons of Filth with Evil Speak. We're going to hear about them in a sec, but let's just run down. We had Punching Moses with Grim Reality and Punching Moses with Imperial Avenue. Fantastic tune. Midnight did Bitch Mongrel from their new album. Then we heard Mongoloid with a number of tunes. Mongoloid Part 2 and 3 and American Nomad. Bad Brains, Sailing On. That was our 2 for Tuesday, Thursday version. Plague did Power Play from their CD. Ojo Seco from Brazil did Desespero from their album with them, and also Innocentes and Cholera. So that was from 1984. Bad Brains again did Big Takeover from the Roar 1982 album cassette. It's on a CD now. And let's see, Ringworm did The Apparition from their latest album, Snake Church. Gangrene started us out with Last Chance. So let's hear from Andy and Shelley what Icons of Filth information they have.
Well, earlier this year, we interviewed Icons of Filth. What was Icons of Filth, I think I should say. Right after the interview, the band broke up.
Must have been something we said.
Maybe it was how we had them pronounced.
That's some reveal.
Yeah. Well, I think it has to be me getting them to pronounce the longest train station in Wales, which, no, I won't even give it an attempt. If you want to know what it is, go find us on YouTube, look for Icons of Filth Part 1, and they will say it. And it's a big, long, that ends in go, go, go.
So that's just one of the many interviews that you guys have done for Midland's punk rock video news.
We have gone with Icons of Filth, Steve Ignorant, Discharge.
Did you ask Steve Ignorant about that thing on the Turbo Negro album?
No, I did not.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
You should have just said to him, what? This means wall, mate. I would have loved that. Hey, who's going to see Turbo Negro at the Punk Rock Bowling this year? I heard 2 days already sold out. So is there even a point to try to go to it? I mean,
you just cross your fingers and hope you get that day.
I mean, yeah, so that's not a very good way to try to go to see a show, I don't think.
No, definitely not, especially when you have one band you really want to see.
Well, one, and then GBH is playing also, but, as far as, I've never seen Turbo Negro, and I just discovered them when I came back here, or shortly around that time. So I'm a late adopter of them, but because they've got some album out that's like, from the archives back in the day in 94. Jesus, really? I don't know when. I think they came out then. I don't know. They weren't in with the first wave of Finnish bands or anything like that. So, or Norwegian band. What do they Finnish? I think.
Oh, I'm not sure. Scandinavian of some sort.
Yeah, you could just say Scandinavian and be done with it, right?
Yes.
So let's see. All right, we're going to hear a couple of these tunes. a couple of these PSAs, I should say. And then I'm going to come back. I'm picking tunes here. I think we're going to go with the tribute to Venom with Nuclear Assault doing Die Hard. That's an excellent choice in my opinion. So, all right, we'll be right back. Yep.
Gambling is all fun and games until you borrow money, until you lie about it, until all you think about is gambling, until you hurt your friends and family. You can take care of problem gambling before until. Ohio for Responsible Gambling is an initiative to prevent and treat problem gambling involving the Ohio Lottery Commission, the Ohio Casino Control Commission, the Ohio State Racing Commission, and the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. For more information or help, you can visit org.ohio.gov or call the free and confidential problem gambling hotline at 1-800-589-9966.
If you like to gamble, I tell you I'm your man. You win some, lose some, it's all the same to me.
Understanding your finances is a key to a strong financial future, and good financial decisions don't have to be big or overwhelming. Little things like putting money into a savings account every paycheck or paying down your credit card each month can go a long way to getting you onto the right financial track. You don't have to be the one who makes bad decisions and gets left behind. You can visit feedthepig.org for tools and tips to get started on the path to financial stability. This message is brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs, the Ad Council, and your friends at WCSB Cleveland.
All right. Scary Ellen back on Millions of Dead Chickenheads, WCSB 89.3, broadcasting from the edge of Cleveland State University. So I'm up here with Shelley and Andy, visiting from Manchester, England,
Yes.
and telling us about their video news, Midlands punk rock video news type. What is it? A YouTube channel?
It is a YouTube channel, MPRV News. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
We have a website as well.
We have a website also, punkvideonews.com.
Right. All free.
Facebook page.
Yeah.
Very good.
Facebook page. Subscribe to us, watch us. What we try and do is cover both the smaller bands, the up-and-coming bands, in fact, going on from what we were saying with Icons of Filth. The son of the original singer, Stig, from Icons of Filth, has his own band, Grand Collapse.
Oh, okay.
And he's one of the bands that will be coming up, hopefully, if all things go well in the future. Other bands that we have worked with are bands like, Burning Flag.
Yeah, it's one of Jock's
Dragster.
5 feet up and coming bands.
Yeah, Jock loves Burning Flag.
Really?
Yeah.
I found out that a couple of those guys were fans of the basketball league over there too, the professional basketball league. There's a team in Birmingham. I was told by I think Jock or Ross or one of those guys from GBH.
Somebody is involved with, or does like that, and I cannot recall who.
Well,
I honestly don't remember, but it is somebody associated with them. Right.
Yeah, I was asking about guys because that's like that's like not as high a European league as, like for example, Italy or Spain or Turkey or something like that. It's actually more of a minor league type. No offense, but and they play. I know they have Birmingham, London. Forget the other. I think I knew some people who played over there on some of those teams, but I can't think of it right now. So. But I knew a lot of guys that were in the minor leagues of basketball, that's for sure. Guys that are in and out of the league, somewhat. So, but anyway, so where do you head for after this? Are you have any band interviewing to do while you're still in the States, or are you done with that for now?
Yeah, we're going to be heading home on New Year's Day from Detroit.
All right.
And we've got enough episodes loaded up to at the start of April anyway, 2 a week. because we've been busy bees during the festival season.
Sure.
But we'll be kicking into gear pretty soon after getting home, just loading onto that total.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
And we've already been invited to one major festival, which is honoured that they actually invited us because they like the work we're doing.
Wow, cool.
And we got to one or two other festivals, and they're the type of festivals we like covering because we like to get real close in the face live video recording, as you've probably seen.
Sure.
Try and make the viewer feel that they're actually at the show, so it's not polished sound. You don't hear that with your ears. It's not free camera angles because you don't see that with your eyes. And the quick 1.5 minutes live blasts rolling into an interview. So hopefully there's a bit there for everyone. And
I like the way you guys cut in their performances and stuff while you're, you could be interviewing and then you show some. Then at the end you have like a longer. At least that's the way it was with Radis that I noticed.
Yeah, sometimes if I get the time, well, probably a lot of the time I'll put longer footage up under Miglin's punk rock video, which is kind of
it's all on the same channel. And
it's just basically the box on the microphone. We can't fill the full words on.
Right.
So we abbreviated
so we can
that to MPRV.
And it's a lot easier to say. But we do the full, sometimes occasional full sets. There's a Fuse full set,
and a Fang
full set
that we've recently put
that
up.
were just recently released. But we have a lot of others.
Sometimes it's 15 minutes, so people want to follow it up. But when we put the episode out, there's links to the band website and their Facebook page for anyone, and we don't normally advertise too much what's coming up, so we got a regular slot on a Tuesday and a Friday, so you never know, it's going to be someone you know, someone you don't know. And all we ask viewers is, if they don't know them, to just give up 5-10 minutes of your time, watch the episode. You might discover something.
There's nothing being sold. It's just an educational experience for everybody, right?
And our YouTube channel is not monetized. We make no money from it at all.
That's cool.
So we're not selling anything. We're just saying, hey, if you like the music.
For mentioning it here, it's good.
Yeah. Exactly. So
and all our figures are all, 100% clean and everything, not untampered with. So all viewers, everything.
Say it this time of night.
It's basically what you see is what you get.
Right. Well, I've enjoyed a lot of the interviews that you guys have done. I like the Radis one. I like the Discharge one where JJ explains that he was in Broken Bones, and I love that part. I keep mentioning it, but that's really. It gives a lot of the history of the band and what they're doing now, and I think a lot of it will, clarify any misconceptions. For example, the Discharge thing, and not understanding that JJ's been with those guys and hanging around. It's not just like the dude coming into playing Van Halen or something, you know what I mean? So
he's totally he is a member of Discharge.
Yeah,
full on.
I saw the you guys did an interview with him and then had a lot of the performance. It was kick ass.
They are
very good,
amazing live. They really are.
And some of our friends went out to see. I think they were Punk Rock Bowling last year, and some friends of ours saw them. So and they agreed. They were skeptical at first. Wow, what about Cal?
Yeah.
Stop with the Cal. So everybody was enjoying them no matter what. So
Jeff is definitely give him a chance, because he's the best thing you're going to get from except for Cal.
And people are happy when they don't hear that the part of Discharge. They like to hear the early Discharge. The later Discharge, where they kind of went metal, people do not like that much. Not that much. So it's not the way they played here during. I saw that show actually. I didn't think it was that heinous, but people were just like, in their cups about how bad it was. I don't know.
I saw it in New York City, and it was the Ritz, and the whole place was empty by about the third or fourth song.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice. I forget who they played with here, but it was somebody of note when Discharge played here at the Peabody's Down Under. So I
think it was DRI in New York, but I can't remember. Everybody was out there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the Ramones were there.
Oh boy,
gosh, I can't remember.
Everybody
who
got to
else.
see Discharge for
Strange,
sure.
really. There's a lot of punk bands over the years that have really tried to change the name. You know, Channel 3, Too So Well, Bad Religion, 7 Seconds, but everyone remembers Discharge as the one.
I know. Yeah, they can never change, right?
Yeah, that was the one that sticks.
A Brave New World. Nah. Nah. Cut that New World out of there. Right. Well, anyway, we're going to go a little metal here right now. I've got, I was showing you this album. We actually got this at the punk rock flea market out at Lorraine Community College in the fall. And I was surprised to see Tom snared it somehow. And it's a tribute to Venom. But it's not just like it's a bunch of metal bands doing it. So you've got Creator doing Witching Hour. You got Voivod doing In League with Satan. Sodom doing, of course, 1,000 Days of Sodom. And a couple of Venoms on here too. But this was a good one. Nuclear Assault doing Die Hard. So we're going to go with that on Millions of Dead Chickenheads on WCSB Cleveland.
Warrior, ever be my name. I know you reason with many boom.
Move John's mic back. Right on. John's mic is feeding back. John's mic. And turn his bass down. Well, come on. This one's called No Fun.
An imitation from New York, you're made in Japan, a cheese and choker. Your hip is all zero cause you put in a bad show. Put in a bad show, don't it show? Still, I don't know pills. Do you remember? Think it's swell playing 90s Kansas, looking bad and acting flash. When nothing in you got, you better keep your mouth shut. You better keep your mouth shut. You're in a rut. Still, I don't know pills. Do you remember? For 4 years on you still look the same. I think about time you change your brain. You're just a pile of shit and coming at this. Poor little faggot. You still wanna kiss. Do you remember? And guess we're playing in Japan. Everybody knows Japan is a dishpan. You're just a pile of shit. I'm coming at this. Poor little David, still with a kiss. Still, I don't know pills. Condemned. So looking for kids. A kiss, looking for a kiss.
right, that's Golden Torso from Detroit doing Common Man. Before that was the Sex Pistols with Liar. There was a demo from their master tapes from the 40th anniversary box set that I got from my husband Tom Dark for Christmas. And let's see, before that, another part of that